You know, when we think about high-stakes AI, the kind that's being used in hospitals or banks or even self-driving cars, our minds usually jump to data scientists and engineers, right? But there's another player here, one who's absolutely critical but often works behind the scenes, the UX designer. They're the ones on the front lines, making sure these incredibly powerful systems are safe, that they're fair, and ultimately, that they're human. So today, let's explore why their job has become one of the most important and, frankly, one of the most challenging in all of tech. Okay, to really get a handle on the stakes, let's start with a number: $8 billion. That is how much the U.S. healthcare sector reportedly lost in just 2024 because of software inefficiencies. And one of the top reasons for these incredibly expensive failures? You guessed it, poor user experience. But this isn't just about the money, obviously. It's about a system failing the very people it's supposed to help. And that brings us to the human cost, which is where things get really serious. A study looked at 9,000 different patient safety reports and found that over a third, 36% of them, mentioned at least one usability issue. I mean, think about that. That reveals a terrifying link. Confusing interfaces and just plain bad design can directly lead to people getting hurt. In the world of high-risk AI, good design isn't some nice-to-have feature. It is a fundamental safety requirement. All right, so here's how we're going to break it all down in this video. First, we'll dig a little deeper into the stakes. Then we'll look at the core challenges designers are facing. After that, we'll see some amazing solutions in action, check out the designer's toolkit, and finally, we'll talk about why these designers are becoming the essential guardians of this new AI world. So what is it that makes designing for high-risk AI so incredibly difficult? Well, it really comes down to this unique set of invisible hurdles that you just don't find when you're designing, say, a social media app. Let's break down the three biggest ones. First up is what everyone calls the black box problem. So imagine you're a doctor. An AI system recommends a pretty aggressive treatment plan for one of your patients. Your first question is going to be, why, right? Of course, but so many AI tools, they just give you the answer with zero reasoning. In a life or death situation, you need context and clarity, not a magic trick. This lack of explainability is just a massive barrier to trust, and more importantly, to safety. The second hurdle, and this is a huge one, is algorithmic bias. This quote from ProPublica's investigation into a tool used in U.S. courts is, well, it's just chilling. The AI was fundamentally biased, but the UX problem here made it so much worse because the people being judged had absolutely no way to see how their score was calculated or to challenge the AI's biased logic. It was a black box with devastating real-world consequences. And finally, there's the problem of cognitive load, specifically something called alert fatigue. Picture a busy ER doctor. If the AI system is just bombarding them with constant, low-priority alerts, beep, flash, beep, they're going to do what any human would do. They'll start tuning it out. Bad design can create so much noise that the one truly critical signal, the one that really matters, just gets lost. And that endangers everyone. Okay, so that's the scary part, but here is the good news. Designers aren't just sitting around identifying these problems, they are on the front lines, actively creating solutions. So let's see how they're fighting back in three key areas: healthcare, finance, and autonomous vehicles. Just take a look at this. On the left, you've got the classic black box. The AI just says, do treatment plan A. That's it. But on the right, you see what happens after a UX designer gets involved. Now the doctor sees the AI's confidence level, 85%. They see the key factors the AI considered, and most importantly, they have a big, clear button to override the decision. This simple change transforms the AI from a mysterious dictator into a trusted collaborator. And this whole approach is built on a few really smart principles. It's about showing your work, displaying those confidence scores. It's about using plain, human language instead of confusing tech jargon. It's about designing for collaboration, not control. And the absolute key, always empowering the human expert to question or just plain overrule the machine. It's all about building trust through transparency. And we're seeing this exact same logic play out in finance. A credit score used to just be this random number that was handed down from on high. But now, new systems are being built using something called Explainable AI, or XAI. They're finally giving people a window into that number. By showing you the key factors that are driving your score, it actually empowers you to understand and improve your own financial health. It's a huge step toward fairness. The principles here are all about one thing: accountability. Designers are using XAI to trace every single decision, give people personalized explanations, and build these interactive dashboards so companies can actually spot bias in their own systems. Then they create tools to constantly monitor for fairness. It's like building a system of checks and balances directly into the product itself. Okay, now let's switch gears. What about a self-driving car? Imagine you're riding in one and it suddenly makes this weird, unfamiliar beeping sound. That's terrifying, right? Well, good UX completely changes that. Instead of some mystery noise, you get a clear, multimodal alert. A visual pops up on the dashboard, combined with a calm, verbal explanation. That tiny change is the difference between pure panic and total trust. For autonomous vehicles, it really all comes down to building that trust through clear communication. The car has to be transparent about what it's doing and why it's doing it. Giving the driver an easy way to take over, a manual override, is crucial for that feeling of control. But here's the tricky part. Designers have to strike this really delicate balance between giving you the info you need without just overwhelming you with constant, unnecessary noise. So across all these different fields, you can see this clear shift happening, right? We're moving from AI as this opaque authority to AI as a transparent collaborator. And the coolest part is, these solutions aren't just clever one-off fixes anymore. The craft is actually becoming formalized. Designers are now building a shared toolkit of rules and patterns to create responsible AI, every time. Take a look at GitLab's AI UX patterns, for instance. They help designers make a really fundamental choice right from the very beginning. Should the AI completely automate a task, taking the human out of the loop? Or should it augment the human, acting more like a helpful assistant? That one simple decision ends up guiding the entire design process from start to finish. Here's another powerful tool they're using, the progressive onboarding pattern. Instead of demanding all your data right up front, it works to build trust gradually. First, it just shows you the benefits. Then it lets you dip your toe in and experience a little bit of the value for yourself. And only after you trust the system does it ask you to share more to unlock the really advanced features. It's a design pattern that's fundamentally built on respecting the user. So all of this leads to a brand new understanding of the designer's role in the world. They aren't just creating interfaces anymore. They're not just making things look pretty. They are the guardians of the human imperative in this age of incredibly powerful machines. And that really brings us to the core message of all of this. This quote just says it perfectly. You can't code empathy. You can't program a machine to build trust or to guide a scared patient through a difficult diagnosis. Technology is an unbelievably powerful tool, but it is not, and it never can be, a replacement for genuine human connection and understanding. So we end with this question. As these AI systems get smarter and more integrated into every single part of our lives, who is going to be there to make sure that technology continues to serve us and not the other way around? Well, it's the people designing our interactions with them, the UX designers. They're the ones on the front lines tasked with the incredible responsibility of keeping our AI human.